The Telegraph are reporting that Evan Ferguson has snubbed any transfer and is going to be signing a new deal with Brighton Hove Albion. So again, we were chatting about Brighton earlier on. Good business, and it's probably the right thing for Evan, you would say, Shane. I mean, some people were linking him with a top 5 club, potentially even Man United. I'd love to see him at United personally, but at the minute it seems like Brighton consistency, De Zerbi's there, continuous sort of using him in a way that's smart, that he's not always constantly in the limelight, but he is a key player for them still.
Listen, look, I've said it already. Literally, if you ask me to pick a club in the Premier League for Evan Ferguson to be at the moment, he's at the right one. No, definitely not Spurs. he's at the right one. It's a dream situation for him. It really, really is. A club that can't afford to go and sign a superstars. Therefore, they're not going to sign a 50 million centre forward next year who's going to replace him. Brilliant. That's what he needs. He's going to be given the time there to continue to grow. If he has a bad game or two, he might drop out a team, but he's not going to drop out a squad, and we're not going to not see him for as has happened to many rising stars that Ireland we have thought we've had over
Some
the last
have played
few
for
years.
Brighton as well.
Yeah. There's a few examples of it, probably. So there is. I actually heard Kenny Cunningham over the weekend, and I thought he was brilliant. He was being pushed on whether what does Evan Ferguson need to have in his next contract? Surely he's now in the region of money wise, in the region of he can pretty much demand huge, and like Kenny Cunningham just wasn't having it. He just wasn't having. He was basically just saying, like, this guy is going to retire a millionaire. Prioritising money or anything at this stage is absolutely not what he needs. He's at the ideal club for himself. He should be looking for a new contract to tie him down to that club for the next few years, because it's where he needs to be. Don't overly concern himself with how many zeros are on whatever the new contract is. Just, you're at a brilliant club. Keep doing what you're doing. The money will come, lad. Don't worry. The money will. You are going to retire a millionaire. There is no doubt on that front. Don't be overly greedy. Just stay doing what you're doing. And I couldn't agree with him more. So look, that's absolutely brilliant news as far as I'm concerned. If the trajectory stays going in the manner that it is at the moment, and every game his reputation seems. I know he only got, what did he get the last day? 25 minutes. In that's I thought was arguably the best 25 minutes I've ever seen him have in the Premier League. I thought he was against Chelsea. I thought he was outstanding. I know it's only 25 minutes, and I'm not. I kind of go my way, try not overly hype him, but that was a really, really impressive 25 minutes against. I was going to say a strong team. I know they're struggling a bit at the moment, but no, it's look. Well done to all those who are advising him, and it's definitely the right move.
I'd say gone are the days where the club can buy his man Dad a new house and give him a car to sweeten the deal. I don't know if you're still able to do that, are you?
Say that his sister got a sunbed when he was leaving Newcastle between going to United or Spurs, and he managed to get like a sunbed out of Spurs or the new washing machine or something was.
Yeah, some of the backstories were mad.
It is like the first thing when that came out. Obviously, you're thinking that makes perfect sense, that move, and you're right, Brighton. We're talking about the structures and all, but then you kind of wonder as well. And this is only my own just little thing where I was saying about football, like everything that it's like tectonic plates, you just can shift so quickly and stuff can change. Like De Zerbi gets poached. Like Ferguson's prominence has come because he fits perfectly into that system that De Zerbi has. Like before that, like I remember he was out in a school, Evan Ferguson in Finglas. Just it was after his debut for Ireland, and it was before the World Cup, and the talk was he was going to be going along to the Championship. That was the talk, you know what I mean? And then obviously De Zerbi's got a hold of him, and he's seeing something in him that a lot of people would have seen when he was younger, and then Ferguson's taken that leap and he's gone with it. But there still has to be that little bit of degree of caution. Yeah, I think it's the right move for him to stay there, because he doesn't have to go chasing money. And like the clubs, you know, who would have been in for him, and you would think if De Zerbi is going to be there, then that could be perfect. But then you never know what's going to happen with Brighton. You know what I mean? Like it seems perfect and it seems right at the moment, but it's only going to be what he makes of it and how he continues to develop and what he continues to do that will determine whether or not it is actually the right move. Because if you look at, say, Gavin Bazunu, like everyone would have said, you know what, absolute perfect move going to Southampton because he's going to play, and he has. But he was also going to Southampton at a time where Ralph Hasenhüttl was the manager, but he had just got rid of half his backroom staff because the previous season had finished poorly. There was a bit of upheaval in the background, and then that season from that point of view has just been an absolute disaster in terms of managers. But he's got his games and he's got his minutes, so he's probably learned so much from a season of absolute struggle.
Of course you will.
Now, you're thinking on the outside, right? There's no way Brighton can go through that. But as much as we're talking about, they have all like the structures in place and everything is great. If De Zerbi was to leave, which, let's be honest, the nature of football, like, it's not, like, no one can say here and say he's definitely going to be the manager for the start of next season. You can't.
Yeah, but
you just can't. So, like, if a new manager comes in, you never know what could happen.
But it won't be.
I know he's got all the talent in the world and there's all that progress, but like it does feel as if at the moment it's perfect for him. Because
I'd hate for him to lose De Zerbi. I would absolutely hate for him to lose De Zerbi in terms of his development. But I am with Enda in that the difference between Spurs and Brighton is Spurs sacked Conte however many weeks ago. They still have no idea who they're going to appoint next. I can guarantee you Brighton know who they're going to appoint next when De Zerbi goes.
I'd say
they
so.
absolutely know, and it will be somebody who doesn't vary a whole lot from the model that they're currently using in terms of style of play and all of that kind of stuff.
The best way I could describe it is that Spurs and other clubs, they buy players for the managers, whereas Brighton buy players for Brighton.
For style of play,
It doesn't matter who the manager is. Now, to an extent, obviously managers will have preference of who they want to bring in, who they know will suit the system. But Brighton will not spend the money on this player if they know that it's going to totally readjust where they want the club to go. It's not down to the manager, it's down to what they want the club.
But I would love to see De Zerbi be Evan Ferguson's manager for the next 12 to 24 months.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. But that's when I was saying this, was like, that's just the nature of football, isn't it? Like, it's not that it's the safe option. It's not the safe option. It's the right option for him to stay there, because at the moment everything is aligned from there. But then it's just the nature of football. Things change, and then that's when something else is going to be different ideas. I know what you're saying. The next manager who comes in at Brighton, and we're already talking about that again. That's just the nature of football. You're expecting them to go almost. Like, unless they get into Europe, and you never know what could happen with the end of their season. That's what I'm saying. We spoke about this earlier. They finish strongly, they're going to be in Europe. But like, I don't know. You kind of just, like, even in my head there, I'm thinking, like, what happens? So Ancelotti leaves Real Madrid in a couple of years. De Zerbi goes to Real Madrid. Haaland will have probably won a couple of league titles and probably the Champions League with Man City. He'll go to Real Madrid. Has Evan Ferguson been absolutely sensational? Does he go to Manchester City then? Because this is where we're looking at. This is where you speak to people. These are the kind of things that are already probably playing out in terms of, you're talking about managers and structures. Every club would be looking at and saying, well, we have this player in here at the moment, but who could come in if needs be? And like, let's be honest, like, that's the name who's on a lot of clubs' lips there, is Evan Ferguson. In terms of how football is going at the moment, already in trends and all the rest of it, it's going back to a little bit of, you have that focal point who can drop deep, who can lead the line, who can do everything and score goals. And at the moment, Ferguson is showing, and it's only a small kind of period, but he's shown that he's capable of doing that. The challenge from now, and hopefully it's going to be is Brighton with the new contract under De Zerbi, is a full season of it.
We need to give him a bit of space to progress and breed, but at the same time, if there's not a fight between Man City and Real Madrid for him in 2 years,
I know what you're saying, but you didn't read all the reports. But you read the reports and you speak, like, all clubs now. If any young lad at 18, 19 is doing what he's done in the Premier League, he's on the radar. I'm not saying he's going to be their number one transfer target, but it's like, if we're saying about Brighton and all their plans in place, and they know who their next manager is going to be, like, City are trying to get Haaland. I think he might have signed a new contract, has he? I don't know if he has, but like they know that something could change.
Like, how many young players' careers have been killed because they've made that big move too soon? Like, look at all the players who have, done well at a mid-ranking Premier League club, signed for either Chelsea or City, and then basically almost never been heard of again, like, kind of a thing. Like, that's the last thing in the world Evan Ferguson needs.
He's only 18. He has at least 3 to 4 years before that move to a bigger club, and it might be even unfair to say a move to a bigger club is a better, because Brighton could well be a top 5 club within 2 years if they stick to the way they are. And honestly, we haven't had a player that has been a consistent mainstay in a top 5 club in how many years? Matt Doherty, you can't really choose.
Think about the sky's the limit for Evan Ferguson, okay? But lads, if he's at Man City, he's in the top 3 centre forwards in world football. Do we really think that's where he's going? Like,
I take that.
We were talking, but like, this is the thing. Like, and again, if you speak to people and you read all the stuff about it, like, any player who comes through, like what he has done, he is on clubs' radar. They all now know where he's at this level, and then it's now a case of actually seeing it for a longer spate of time in terms of next season at Brighton. And that's what I'm saying. But De Zerbi it's working for him because obviously De Zerbi trusts him. He's developing, he's learning all the time. Obviously, he was being small but flipping there when I was talking about obviously if Ancelotti loses and then there goes to Real Madrid and all the rest of it. But like, I'm just talking about if that's the trajectory he's on, and ideally it is, and we're talking about say 3 or 4 years, like Jesus, like you've seen a couple of injuries he's had this year. You know what I mean? Like, I know you don't want to be getting into it already of talking about injuries, but like, because he's only a kid, but you never know what can happen as well. Do you know what I mean? There is that element to it too, but
Here we are.
Well, United have apparently open proceedings for Harry Kane to join over the summer. I personally think it would be a better idea to go for the likes of Evan Ferguson, but he is going to be signing a new Brighton contract, so we'll park that conversation for another day until we decide whether he's going to be Real Madrid's number 9 or Manchester City's number 9